Coming up on the Paper Talk today, we'll be looking at potential outgoings. We know that Donny Van De Beek has gone. What's happening with Jadon Sancho and also Mason Greenwood? Could they be joining him? Plus some incomings. United linked with yet another defender and a striker or an attacker that we've been linked with in the past. Let's get into it. Jay here for Stretford Paddock. This is the Paper Talk. As you can see, I'm outside Old Trafford, and if you've got your parkers, put them on because it's very wet and windy. We'll get straight into it. Load of transfer stories to get through. A few outgoings, a few potential, two potential incomings. Let us know in the chat and the comments what you think of him. And if you're not doing already, please subscribe to the channel. Now, there's a story I think it's in the Mirror. I think this is from yesterday evening, that Jadon Sancho could be on his way or is wanted by a host of clubs. Apparently RB Leipzig, Dortmund and Juventus are all interested, monitoring, looking at him, keeping tabs on him, however you want to term it. This window, he could end up moving there to one of those clubs. He could end up going back to Germany, going back to Dortmund, maybe he goes over to Italy. I'm not so sure. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that one, but he has got a little bit of interest. We know he's not kicked a ball for a few months now for Manchester United, and it's all gone sour. He's been training with the Rezzies. He's not speaking to the manager from what we gather, and he doesn't look like getting anywhere near the first team anytime soon. But this is a player that, when he was at Dortmund, was one of the most productive players in the world. I think he had about 36 goal involvements in 39 games or something in his last season in Germany, with Dortmund. Still relatively young as well, so wouldn't be surprised if someone came in for him. I don't know whether it's going to be one of the clubs I've mentioned or someone else, or even if he is going to end up staying at Manchester United this window and going in the summer. Me and Joe were talking about this on the Paddock podcast yesterday, and I said it might even end up being the summer when he goes, but we'll keep tabs on that, and much like the clubs are keeping tabs on him, and we'll let you know if there are any developments. One player we know there are developments is Donny Van De Beek. He's gone to Eintracht Frankfurt on loan with a view to a £9.5 million move. I think they could get him on a permanent deal at the end of that loan move. I mean, it's just a shame. I spoke about this extensively. It's been confirmed. It's doing all the rounds in the papers this morning, but it is a bit of a shame what happened with Donny Van De Beek. I think there was an element of maybe he was a little bit overhyped when he came to Manchester United, and there was a little bit too much expectation on him. I know he'd done well at Ajax. He'd been part of that fantastic team under Erik ten Hag, ironically, obviously as well. He'd been a Ballon d'Or nominee, but never really got going at United. Wasn't helped by the fact that it looked like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer didn't really fancy him. Plus, he wasn't really what we needed. We needed someone a little bit more defensive than what Donny Van De Beek was. So for a multitude of reasons, it's not worked out. He's gone to the Bundesliga. I hope it works out there for him, and hopefully he can get a permanent move, because I don't really think he'll have a future at United. If your old manager, the manager where you made your name under, comes back to your current club, or comes to your current club and gives you a chance there, and it still doesn't work out because of injury, to be fair to Donny Van De Beek, then you're on a bit of a hiding to nothing. So I don't think Donny Van De Beek is going to come back to United and shine, even if we get a new manager. And I just feel like it's one of those where this move hasn't worked out. He went on loan to Everton, didn't work out there, he got injured, came back. Erik ten Hag comes in, gives him a bit of a chance, not much, but a bit of a chance, gets injured again. So yeah, I wish him well in the Bundesliga. Talking of potential outgoings, Mason Greenwood has been attracting all sorts of interest. There's a story in the Metro saying that basically Atletico are looking to hijack a deal from Barcelona, or vice versa, depending on your point of view. Barcelona and Atletico Madrid have both been linked with Mason Greenwood. It looks like Barcelona was sort of first in the pecking order there, but now, according to the Metro, Atletico Madrid are also interested too. He had a very good game, Mason Greenwood, against Atletico Madrid. I think Antoine Griezmann said he destroyed Atletico Madrid, so you can understand why they're looking at him. We know the reasons that Mason Greenwood isn't playing for Manchester United. They're not footballing ones. In terms of his ability and talent, we know he's one of the most, I think he's one of the best young players I've ever seen. It's just the issues that have gone on surrounding him that have stopped him playing for Manchester United. So if the club are looking to sell him, it looks like there will be suitors there. As always, we'll keep you posted. Let us know what you think in the comments in the chat. Let us know if you think there's still the chance that Mason Greenwood could come back to Old Trafford. We've got a new person in charge of footballing matters now, with Sir Jim Ratcliffe and the likes of Dave Brailsford. They might look at Mason Greenwood differently than how Richard Arnold and, John Murtaugh, whoever, looked at him, because I think Erik ten Hag was willing to bring him back into the team, from what we gather. When it was all those reports that Mason Greenwood was going to be brought back into the squad, you imagine that those conversations had gone on with Erik ten Hag and he'd greenlit that. However, there was such a backlash that it didn't happen. So you wonder whether United would be willing to risk that again, whether the manager still wants him, whether the new powers that be would want to try and bring Mason Greenwood back into the team, or whether they just want to go, look, if we can get a decent offer from him from a club like Atletico, or maybe even Barcelona, then let's just take it. Let me know what you think in the chat in the comments. A couple of incomings, potential incomings. We've been linked with a kid from Italy in Atlanta, Giorgio Scalvini. This is the centre-back, young centre-back. I think he's 20 years old, doing quite well for a youngster. I think he's got about 7 caps for Italy. There's a report, I think it's come from Tutto Sport and Tutto Atalanta, that United are interested in him and could buy him in this January transfer window for around 40 odd million quid. I think it's about £43 million. Is that going to happen? We'll have to wait and see. We know that we've been linked with quite a few centre-backs. We've been linked with Jean-Claude Todibo, of course, from Nice quite heavily. Could we be going for this kid from Atalanta? Potentially. I just don't know what the situation is in terms of signings. Have we got money to spend? Have we got to get rid of a few more players? Have we got to go into the loan market to sign players? If that is the case, we have to go in the loan market, then we ain't buying any 20-year-olds from Atalanta. Obviously, you might look at it and go, look, Atalanta have got a bit of a reputation for pulling our pants down somewhat. I rate Rasmus Højlund, but we paid a lot of money for a player who was not unproven, but relatively unproven. I think we can agree that 70 million was like the top end of what you could expect to pay for Rasmus Højlund. Then you go back even further to Amad Diallo. I think his transfer goes up to 37 million quid. So Atalanta aren't a club that sell on the cheap. If you can get a young defender though, who is very good and 20 years old, he's got a whole career ahead of him, for around 40 million quid, I don't think that's too shabby. Have United got the money? Can we get around FFP? Is it going to happen this January? We'll have to wait and see. As always, if it does, we will keep you posted and keep you updated with any developments on that front. I saw a story as well in the Mirror yesterday, and I thought it was 2019 all over again. United linked with Paulo Dybala. I mean, remember this one doing the rounds about 3 or 4 years ago? Well, it's doing the rounds again. Apparently United are looking at him. He's obviously at Roma. He's doing okay. I think he's got about 4 goals this season. He can play in a number of positions, can't he? The young Argentinian, not the young, he's 30 years old now, the Argentinian. Can I see him coming to Manchester United now? Not really. I think 3 or 4 years ago, when he was 26, 27, whatever, maybe that would have happened. Now, at the age of 30, it's not beyond the realms of possibility. I'd be slightly surprised. Again, let me know what you think. It's one to keep an eye on. It just feels that every transfer window, we have a Paulo Dybala to United transfer rumour, story, report, whatever you want to call it. It always seems to be doing the rounds, so let us know what you think. He's a decent player, a good player. Can he come here at the age of 30 and do a job for Manchester United? I'm not so sure. I think we might need to be looking for players a little bit younger, but then again, we don't know how much money we've got to spend. There have been a few reports, I think I've seen it in the Mirror and elsewhere, that because of Sir Jim Ratcliffe's investment, in the summer we will be able to spend a little bit more than we would have previously because of FFP, but let's cross that bridge when we get to it, yeah? Let's not start worrying about the summer now. Let's just focus on January. Just on a couple of other stories as well, there's a story in the Metro, and I think this has come via the Sun, hashtag don't buy the Sun, that Wan-Bissaka and Hannibal Mejbri could be given, or their extensions could be triggered for that extra 1 year. There's no movement as of yet, and there was talks that maybe Mejbri could be going out, could be going either on loan or could be getting sold. Wan-Bissaka, it's a bit of a funny one with him. He's always sort of on the fringes. Sometimes he is a first team, sometimes he's not. Well, according to the Metro, those players could be given the extra 1 year on their deals. I'm going to wrap it up there because it's freezing, it's wet, it's rainy, and we've got loads more content coming up. We're going to be talking to Damesh Seth from Sky Sports later on today. He's going to be chatting to Joe Smith, so we'll be getting his take on all the latest transfer news. So make sure, if you're not doing already, you are hitting like, share, and subscribe. I've been Jay Motti outside a very wet Old Trafford. Thanks for watching.